Chair, good morning. I know you always call me Betty Makoni, but those who are respectful and who come from Zimbabwe know that I'm Muzhari. Muzhari means a Royal Highness. I think you can fight over your political titles, but this one don't touch. What's so interesting for me today is that sometimes I work with my intuition. I've been invited to restore Zimbabwe, led by our chair, Mr. Tapa, with all the coalition here, restore Zimbabwe. And then on the other side of London, I've been invited to restore the UK in the evening to perform a poem. So it's quite interesting. We are restoring Zimbabwe whilst the UK is restored. And for both speaking engagement, I'm taking a central line. I don't know, are you as literature as me? Are you picking the iron and the symbolism and the figurative language? So ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to speak. My topic is leadership. Does gender matter? And what now for Zimbabwe and its diaspora? So on issues of leadership, I don't want to point into anyone's eye. First of all, I want to say before I speak, I've got an autobiography talking about my leadership as a girl child vendor, somebody who sold tomatoes, onions on the streets of St. Mary's in Chitumbisa, up until I became a global leader with 35 global awards. So everything that I did from a little girl up to now, it's in 600 pages. When you are talking about Betty, don't talk about me in a sentence or in a newspaper article or on your online newsletters. I've got a 600-page book. Don't my story. I'm not oral history. You cannot talk about me. This is 21st century, I'm digitalized. So what I want to say is a testimony after the elections. I was listening to everybody because, as you know, I worked in grassroots Zimbabwe. I still have my constituency following me, and thanks to social media, because everybody I know is in my inbox. This is a poem I wrote after listening, because when women broke down, as the former chairperson of the Women's Coalition and as founder of Girl Child Network Zimbabwe, I was there also to console souls. I saw women waking up early in the morning. By 5 a.m. they were at the polling stations, even though they were quiet about who they were voting for. What I know is they were trying to vote for food on the table. What I know, they were trying to restore their markets that were destroyed in 2005 by Mrambachina. What I know, women don't want to be prostitutes. We want to be royals and princesses just like I am. That's what I know our Zimbabwean women do. So from a testimony, the usually hyperactive city woke up as if a mass of graves. People went so quiet and so silent. People expressed pain in eyes with mouths shut. People feared the known and the unknown. People were there physically. You could see them, but their spirits were stolen. The big city had zombies moving. You could see them, but their spirits were quiet. The villages, the drums, and Yule elections died. They took signals from city daughters and sons who never came blowing trumpets, warmed for celebrations. Are you sure that big city just died? The city collapsed in our hearts. Everyone I know died. Hopes shattered and change changed. Hope became hopeless, with liars falsely shouting victory to victims. The city still has the dead silence. just in case the gun blows your way, in case the bully bends your skin. And so let the world endorse the dead silence. That's how I captured everybody, through a small stanza of my poem that it just died. So as a woman leader, I'm seeing children, I'm seeing men, I'm seeing old people, I'm seeing the poor trying just to come from the dead. There are no people to resuscitate them. There are no people to give them anything symbolically. It's a nation that fell down, where mothers like us, where women like us have to define it for children. Anywhere you came from our wombs, we have got a right to take you back. We do have a right to say, well, son, you don't behave well, come back and let me redo you. It's us women with the power. So I want to say, after the elections, less than 20% women were leading. Leadership is male-dominated, old-fashioned men. They are suspicious of their own people. They are very rich and they can take anyone they think is a prostitute anywhere, anytime. They reduce women to sex objects. They reduce children to sex objects. You can actually see with the number and the increasing number of little girls who are being raped. That's the news you will continue reading online. They start schemes, be it for agriculture, for distributing whatever they distribute, but you end up them having it. Corruption must be addressed. What I must confirm is that, as someone who is coming from a very powerful tribe of Makoni, where each one of us as female is royal and we have a say in how a family is run, I regret to say Zimbabwe is a patriarchal society. Men rule our country. Men rule in the homes. And even here in the diaspora, they formed churches, new Pentecostal churches led by men. And you actually heard a lot of women who have been raped in those churches, a lot of women whose homes are broken because of some of those churches. Bible constantly used to push you. I went to the University of Zimbabwe, attained degrees just like my male counterpart. I can think, I can talk, I can decide on what the children in the country need. Why is it we are now 20%? We were actually reduced, stripped, and our current president announced that there are no educated women in Zimbabwe. He said that. And his wife had the guts to come out to call out that the daughter has got her virginity intact. In a country where daily at least 20 girls get raped because of poverty and this. I am really getting angry with the insensitivity. You asked a question like, does gender matter? Yes, it does matter. When we are talking about gender, when we are talking about feminism, we are talking politics. We cannot have homes run by men only. That can't be. What are you going to do for us? Especially our little girls who are now resorting to using sticks like tamboons. Are you going to address it? Do men menstruate here? Do you know when menstrual blood comes and a rural girl cannot go to school because of that? Do men feel it? Do men understand that for me to strip naked in front of you to be a prostitute, that's the last statement to say leaders have let me down? I'm not a prostitute. I'm trying to communicate a message that if only I had the means to sustain myself, I shouldn't be stripping naked. When we are talking about women, we are talking about 51% of the population with the 20% stake. Are these not the women who dancing and going door by door, calling for voters for you men? Why can't you do like my Sekuri Chingaira, who gave me the title Mzare, to say, sister will rule side by side because you are also a fighter? Why is it when you win, you forget the mothers, the sisters, the aunties, who are supposed to balance gender? When we are talking about gender, we are talking about socially constructed mindsets. They don't have anything to do with female or men. These are things society put together to say, Betty cannot be an engineer, she can only be a wife. So that when you see me standing up to say it's all wrong as a woman, the first thing you say is, prostitute, sit down. That's why you were so fascinated as a community with the story of the witches. Look how we all started insulting, shouting, and saying all sorts of things. We did not go down to say, for a woman to do this on the street, what is the story? What is the root cause that would cause a woman to be like that? What we were quick to do was just to condemn. We were condemning the wrong person. We should condemn the leadership. The male leadership in our country has let our women down. Now there are job losses. We are going to go deep down on the end of poverty as women. Because once anything strikes a whole nation, the most vulnerable people are the women. You are going to see men coming out of the jobs. The next thing, they vent their frustrations on you. You are going to be beaten more. They are going to justify even small houses. Yes. Look how even the leadership of the country have small houses and they laugh about it. When our women are perishing with HIV and AIDS, they make it a joke. They actually say we men do it even in parliament. Why should you as a leader do that? We should stand up as women to challenge them. Why would you have two houses? What gives you that legitimacy as a leader to parade your body to two women? I think we have not addressed some things between men and women that are not free and fair. It's not only elections that are not free and fair. Women and men are not free and fair. Now we know how painful something that is not free and fair is. Take a rural girl who is walking 20 miles on an empty stomach with a dirty rag trying to manage menstruation in a rural school. She will write the same examination as the president's daughter who is at Convent High in Harare. Same examination, judged the same. She didn't have transport to school, she didn't have food, she didn't have a teacher, and then we say they failed. We dumped them. We have dumped a lot of innocent people. And I think Restore Zimbabwe is going to help us take them out. Yes. We want to take everybody. And they are even in my book. I even say who violated them where and why they violated them and why we should say never again as a country. I'm also talking about all these institutions you were talking about. It's a male game. Who is the UN Secretary General male? European Union male? SADC male? Look at the portraits when they come out on any event. And we are asking, what can they think about a little girl who is being raped in Murambinda? What police would they think? What political strategy would they think? I must say there is uncertainty. The last thing I could have done as Mujare was to leave my shrine in Rusape and come in Diaspora. But when I examined everything as an African woman leader, I said better be a living hero than to be a dead hero. There are some places that are just dangerous for women, and I'm afraid to say Zimbabwe is one of them. So what are we going to do as Diaspora? I think first of all, I will address the British government to say the issue of women in the diaspora with no legal status is very critical. They've been disabled. Their children are pathetic. There is a crisis in our community with women with no papers. Anyone is raping them and having sex with them anytime, anywhere.
Yes.
People are taking advantage of our women. We want that addressed as urgently as possible. Because these are the same women who are actually helping in the humanitarian crisis on the ground. These are women who are sending 50 pounds, 20 pounds for a mother who is dying in a hospital with no doctor and no drugs. Women have been extended too much from the diaspora. You also manage a home that is so far away financially. So we really want, Mr. Tapa, a situation where we meet on the failed asylum seekers. They are not failed academics at all. They are not failed leaders. They are not failed human beings. They are just failed as to where to stay. And England is a place where we can restore them. Even when you go back to your home, you want that dignity to go with a degree, to go with a house, to go with a handbag, with a bank account, to go with an empowerment handbag to say, yes, I was in exile for 10 years, but my community, here's the little that I do. So I am looking at the education of all the failed asylum seekers. If there could be a scheme, a plan, because I know the women who are here, I know your stories, because I dealt with over 70,000 rape victims in Zimbabwe for 10 years. Day in, day out. Someone comes with a child raped, no job, nowhere to go, the husband is... You are talking about ZANU-PF beating opposition. We are talking about a husband beating a woman in the house. We are talking about a youth militia in the house. So a woman deals with a youth militia in the house and a youth militia in politics. 2 youth militias per 1 woman. So we are saying, let's be sensitive to women who came here. Nobody would think of packing a bag to come here because they want to lie. People are looking for life. People are looking for someone to listen to the stories. And people are looking for people who appreciate, and we have been practical because I met most of the women as the chair of the Women's Coalition. And my plan is that, can they be allowed to be educated? And as for women who came in this world, you have got an opportunity. Let's say the UK government grants you asylum. Please get educated. Please get to a position. Don't join all those Facebook groups of failed people who are mocking each other, who are pulling down each other, who are part of vulgar language, pornographic materials. You be a leader who stands to say, I believe in the emancipation of women, I will not back off. I've been kicked myself, I've been defamed, you all know it. I'm the fraudster. I've been called all sorts of names, but I stand to say, I hit you to go, and I stay in my position as Mujare, because that's what I'm supposed to do as a Zimbabwean woman. So we are quite different from people who negotiate. Yes, we negotiate with dialogue, but as Zimbabwean women, let's push our way through as well. Let's be proactive, let's be empowered, let's support each other. How can you form a group on Facebook to say, down with Mujare Makoni because she has said labia elongation? Then I say to hell, we are not going to stop. And it's women who started it, women pulling each other down. But we are saying, Here is harm to your bodies, to your health. How can you pull your down from your genital organ instead of pulling your brains up? You are pulling down. How can you pull your brains and make it a super brain? Why are we bringing our children here in the diaspora to pull them to prepare for men they don't even know? We failed with men. Why are we pushing our daughters instead of taking them to state-of-art British government built schools? I was at a school, at a girls' school in London. I told the girls and I said, look, mana, wazopiwa mkana manje. We have been given an opportunity to rise by the British government. Yes, they give aid to Africa, we are aware, but there is no aid like this. At this school, cry to the teacher that lock all doors and leave me in the library. But what do we tell? So we really need a scheme and a plan for our women to go to the roots as to why they get disempowered, why patriarchy, because everything being thrown around internet in our Zim online news is telling you that your leaders are fraudsters, your leaders are not good. But we are saying the more you believe it, the more you come away from the people who are trying and you also persecute them. Let's support those who have tried to rise. You don't understand how I stood for Muramba China, people in Chitubiza, 500,000 families, making sure that they've got soap and somewhere to sleep in 2005. Then what happened to me, I was labeled a sellout. I was on the front page of Herald as a sellout. My house was broken into. Musindo was discharged and I was called a fraudster in the Herald. But women just watched as I got persecuted. I was taken to prison 10 days and interrogated, and women, even those who were close to me, celebrated that I was going through persecution. But I'm saying enough of that persecution. Then what finally am I saying to the leadership and the diaspora? It's good that I'm coming from Foreign Office training for the past week, where I'm a gender-based violence expert. It's good I'm coming here to speak to my own people in a country with such a difficult conflict. You know, we are not with guns to shoot. Our war is like war of words of hatred. Our war is the worst war in the world, Zimbabwe. You don't see a gun straight like this, but if someone opens their mouth, you are going to be psychologically traumatized for life. If the president starts speaking, you know everybody is going to go down. If the chief inspector of police speaks, you know my way. If Chinoti starts speaking, you know vari kutyisa varumava dzatoshumba chaidzo dziri mukati memikova. So what do? I wrote a poem and I called it Enough, Now Calling for Peace. Ceasefire on decades of endless Cold War. Ceasefire on Cold War, freezing just everything and everyone. Ceasefire on words of spitfire for words fired with peace. Ceasefire on hate speech and hating even more. Ceasefire on threats, whether real or planned. Ceasefire on political cyber wars in a peaceful global village. Ceasefire on shedding blood of fellow citizens or foreign citizens. Ceasefire on warlike faces and unnecessary bully behavior. Ceasefire on wars hidden or open, known or unknown. Ceasefire on wars planned or unplanned. Ceasefire on wars of the intelligence. No guns, but just warring. Ceasefire on buses and marketplaces. Ceasefire on media sending out toxic news, causing cracks to one people. Enough, calling for ceasefire. On behalf of those silenced, fine white, on behalf of fallen heroes yearning to rest in peace, on behalf of those murdered and raped but have been forgotten, On behalf of my great-great-grandfather, Chinkaira Makoni, beheaded in Festu Chimurenga. On behalf of future generations whose civilization forbids wars by dialogue. On behalf of future Africa who are fighting. On behalf of those born in war, there are some people who were born in war, they live in war. On behalf of those still traumatized by rape. On behalf of prostitutes fighting for survival with wars on their bodies. On behalf of the powerless who will not say or ask but just watch. On behalf of the whole of Zimbabwe struggling for centuries. On behalf of those building and investing. On behalf of those willing to forgive and forge ahead. Enough calling for peace. I'm calling for peace for the sake of poor granaries and grannies with orphans, none of them in school. For the sake of women vendors raped crossing borders. For the sake of the sick with endless wars and terminal disease, I'm just calling for ceasefire. I'm calling for ceasefire, and this is my own definition of leadership. True heroes search for peace. True heroes find peace. True heroes make peace when they find it. True heroes speak peace and spit out war. True heroes help and never harm. True heroes walk the talk. True heroes do more and speak less. True heroes are inclusive and never exclusive. True heroes never make fellow citizens enemies but friends. True heroes build and never destroy. True heroes are men and women of the people. True heroes want only dialogue and never weapons of mass destruction. True heroes are open-minded and talk less and listen more. True heroes sacrifice and give it all. True heroes win the hearts of masses without asking for little favors. True heroes are music that masses sing daily. True heroes are loved and protected as much as they protect. True heroes leave legacies of peace and never tragedies of war. True heroes are humble but highly revered. True heroes don't ask for titles, for their peace give them the entitlements. True heroes don't say they are heroes, but they let the masses say they are heroes. That's my poem for Zimbabwe. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, I just want to say Zimbabwe must include women according to the UN Resolution 1325 in any efforts on women, peace and security. We want to see 80% of the government being women. Men have not ruled the world, men have ruined the world. Yes. It's time we pick up any pieces left, any little pieces they left, be it whatever, and we put in place for the sake of our children. We are the ones whose children are going to bed hungry. So let's stand, let's rise, let's be empowered, let's be inspired, let's aspire. On that note, I want to say thank you all.